Okay, so hey everybody, I've switched to the computer now. So my cell phone is a little old and a little too filled up with too many photos. I think that's the issue. So we're gonna get back to our sewing. And there we go. I can't wait to see Pedro and his industrial sewing machine going. That's going to be really great to watch because he's been telling me about his industrial machine. Okay, so we've got our piece sewn. Take out the pins. Okay, so go down a little bit. All right, so now what I'm going to do is turn this guy inside out. Like that. Okay. And there's number 4. All right, and number 4 stands, wait, you can stay there. Number 4 stands for quality education. That's the symbol for quality education. Okay, so now we've got these foam petals that we're going to stick in. Hold on, get my scissor. Actually, why don't we move over here? So then, trim that down to fit. And then what I've been doing is I've been beveling these so that they have a nice rounded edge. Okay. And then we'll stuff that into number 4. Come on, guy, get in there. Okay, this I'm gonna have to hand sew a little bit. Okay, so my goal here is to get these finished. I just have one more, number 3, but I want to show you, Olivia, come over here, what I'm doing. I've got these 2 metal rings. See if we can get those. And these metal rings are actually recycled from my laundry bag, actually. And what I'm doing is I'm attaching them to 2 of them to each of the petals. So I'm going to fold in the petals and then so they're nice and clean on the inside, and pin those down. Actually, I'm going to use these bigger pins. There. So that's the goal that I'm heading towards, is to get these all pinned down like this. And then, again, this would have been a great volunteer job. we had two wonderful volunteers, Anastasia and her friend, I'm forgetting his name, sorry, were working on these, and I'm so sad that they just can't continue finishing this piece because they really did a lot of uh, math and engineering to get these to all fit right. But this would have been a great job to hand sew. So the next step will be hand sewing these to the metal rings. And then what I'm planning on doing, I have the rattan ring that's going to go on the inside here like this. And then we have these great green ribbons that we got from Materials for the Arts last year. And I'm going to be pinning those so that on the outside, and then hand sewing those as well. So that really becomes a nice clean finish. And the idea is that they'll be around and be able to spin around the head. I'm not gonna, that's the goal for this piece here. And then eventually, let's take her out into space. So I want you to see what I've been focusing on this whole past week has been structure for, oh, you know what? I didn't want to do that. Hold on. I want to take the whole girl over. Gosh, this wonderful dress form has been with Earth Celebrations, I don't know how long. Okay. She's seen better days, hasn't she? Okay. So, I'm going to have her here and add on her headpiece. That's going to be up above. Now, it's kind of hard to see right now because it's see-through, but once the paper comes out, I'm going to show you how I'm going to layer the paper on there. Okay? And so the zero waste costume is, this was the original drawing. Okay? So are we kind of close? Yeah, she's kind of like big leaves. Okay. So let's take out 7:30. Am I going to make it to 7:30? Olivia, you wanted to record that sound. So let's take out our sheet of paper. Yeah, she takes up a lot of room here.
It's okay.
There we go. Okay. So right now the paper is on the pellon. You can kind of see the darker part, that's the paper. And what I'm going to do, this is just a sample to show everybody. Okay, let's find a good section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the pellon over the rattan, and I'm going to basically release it from the pellon and transfer the paper over. Woo! Okay. And then what I do is I'm going to fold in the edges. And again, I'm going to let this dry and see how it looks, but I still think the pulp needs more time. But what I would do at this point is I'm going to be painting it with methyl cellulose glue, which is what also Lucrezia uses for the paper mache. And that will give it strength, super strength, to be worn. Okay? So that's eventually, we'll let that dry for now. Okay. So, it's a lot of work here. The next costume also that I'm going to be, we'll let that dry. What I really want you to see with this one, see if we can put the lamp behind it. It's how the light passes through. Did you get that?
Mm.
Okay, and that's going to be important about this, and how now you see how the paper really gives it volume. Okay, turn around, my dear. There she is. Okay. The other costume that Dee Dee was working on making the pieces for is the zero, and I'd see the text is backwards, but never mind that, is the zero waste daily wear. So, this one is the spirit wear, and this one is the daily wear. See the difference? The daily wear is going to be actually, the cap is a mushroom cap that's actually formed from mycelium. And I'm going to be weaving the bottom base for it. So I think the mycelium still needs to be baked down at the original site on 6th Street. And so once those are baked, I'll have to go down, rent a car, and we'll get those. Or maybe if someone with a car wants to help with driving those to my studio, that would be very helpful. And then also we've been making kombucha leather. And so once the kombucha has been made enough of in the vats, I'm going to be forming that into a vest. Okay, and then the skirt I think is going to be, I have some green fabric up here, but they've also made a whole bunch of these little mycelium mushroom, they're cookie cutter cookie forms. So those are going to be like a belt, these little mycelium mushroom caps, as well as a neck piece. And then we're being recycling bags for carrying, and then this is our water bottle. So it's about, daily wear, just getting through the city, which of course we're not doing that much of right now, but hopefully by the time we have the pageant, we'll be out there. Okay. So for the headgear, in order to get those measurements right, I haven't given him a name. Maybe you guys can give him a name. This is my head form for now. And we'll be using a material called buckram to create the head form for that. So this is a starched cotton, which we'll be doing and shaping around the head using steam. So that's another little detail thing that I'll probably be able to show next week. Okay. I wanted to show you a little model that I made originally that our wonderful volunteers were first following for our spirit, our zero waste spirit. there's our perfect dress. Okay? So hopefully the model and the real one are looking the same. Okay? I'm running out of things to do because it's just is so tedious. I guess you guys can watch me pin the headdress for a while. How about that? Okay. Let's go back over here. See, do we have any questions right now? Yes, we love our volunteers. Oh, what color? On me? The green? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hannah. So, for now, I want to get my my petals pinned down. Make sure I'm in order. Yes. So, I'll give a little bit of background story. How about that? Okay. So, I think I was trying to tell, my friend asked me, like, how did I get involved originally with Earth celebrations? And it really, I think I was doing research on environmental organizations in the city, and I came upon Earth celebrations in my research, and when they were working to save the gardens back in the 80s and 90s. And I just sent an email to Felicia, just out of the blue, just sent her one, and she tells the story that she just happened to be online looking at her email at that time when it came up in her inbox, and she opened it, and that was history ever since. So I've been working on working with Earth celebrations since 2009. In 2009, we did the Hudson River pageant. So the story goes is that they worked for several years with the pageant to save the gardens in the East Village and in Lower East Side. And Bette Midler came to the rescue and bought the properties from the city in order to save the gardens and donate them back to the city, but as for the gardens, for the Parks Department. So then the garden pageants took a break, and then Felicia wanted to continue working and saw that they were redeveloping along the Hudson River, and asked me to work on costumes that would focus on native species from the Hudson River. And those were the first series of costumes that we worked on. Okay. So I've been doing the costumes on and off since 2009. And this is a whole different iteration. Something that's really interesting about this year, which I'm sad that I'm not really getting to experience, is being back at 6th Street at the community center to work there, because that was the original location of Felicia's office for Earth celebrations back in the 80s and 90s. It's a lot nicer now, I understand, from what it used to be like. I know that Lucrecia worked back there as well back then. Okay, 17, where are you? There you are. And it's such a wonderful space. But I love working up here, working at home as well. So we make do. A lot of work, despite being in confinement. Thankfully, as artists, we always have something to do, right? We always have projects that we're working on. I was looking at the New Yorker, and Chris Ware, the cartoonist, I actually went to graduate school with him, and so he has a cartoon in the most current New Yorker and explaining about how to survive confinement and how as artists this is what we do all the time. We're used to not having much interaction with people and being on our own. So that's always been our situation. Okay, so I think these are going to have to get spaced out more. Okay. To make these fit right. So I'd like to get these together before I go tonight, so that you can see. Because I'm trying to figure out exactly how this is going to sit on the person's head. I'm thinking that I was having a dream about how to make a base for this on the head. So we'll have to. That's where the buckram comes in. Okay, I still need to make number 3, so let's put in number 4. You know, we're actually a very artistic building. My upstairs neighbor is a musician, and so he's got his recording studio up there, so I can hear him singing uh, through the ceiling. Let's see, that's going to go here. Oh, no, I think we're going to be okay. So yeah, the colors that Pedro and Rosa were dyeing, um, you know, were meant to match the same colors that we printed. And you guys, you know, we can hopefully order more if you run out, but I think there we go. Okay. So I think what I need to do, I think what we're going to have to do here is sew them together so they don't flip like that. So what I'm going to have to do is pin the sides here. Okay, let's use a bigger thing. So I think that'll make them stand up as one thing. so let's see if that does better. Yeah. There we go. Isn't that great? Okay, so it's very... Now, the thing that I need to decide right now is that do I want to keep it as a solid circle or something that the person who wears it can play with? I'm trying to decide that. What do you think? Does anyone want to weigh in on our comment section? Do we have any comments coming in? Okay. Can we roll that up? Yeah. Okay. So no, if anyone wants to send in any comments, please. I'm trying to decide right now, and this is what is great about having our volunteers. Do I keep this as a playable shape? But I'm thinking that what I wanted to do was build a hat part that this could sit on. So that the person who's wearing it, and we have to make these stay up like that. There we go. So that when they're tired, they'd be able to wear the dashiki thing. Okay. And also make this ring a little bit narrower by filling in the inside so they could just wear it as a neck piece too. Okay. So these are things to play with in the next coming weeks. Okay. There we go. Let's see, is our paper dry yet? No, not yet. It's still pretty wet. Okay, but I think it's almost ready. It's almost ready. Yeah. Okay. One last costume that I'm hoping to get to. And this is, it would be great if we had all our volunteers here to help with this. This is for carbon sequestration costume. And so the idea of this one is that she has a headdress made from kombu seaweed that Felicia was working on actually. And then the top part is going to be more like a hupil from Mexico that's going to represent seaweed. And that's going to be made with green raffia. And then the dress form is going to have a big hoop. And the inside part is going to be all ribbons representing also the seaweed and water flowing. And then these are mangrove tree roots that grow down. If you've ever seen in the south, in the swamps, there's these giant mangroves where the roots are all visible. And that's where a lot of the carbon is held with extra carbon in our environment. And then these are all going to be made, these roots are going to be made out of, I have to go pick up the burlap to sew those. We do have the raffia here. So we'll get that out. And green, it's just basically grass that's been dried. And we'll be sewing with that. So it'll be kind of like a frilly jingle dress in a way. Kind of like my earlier costume for the oysters in a way. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions. Please write them down. Sorry, my videos were going in and out. We'll keep using the computer from now on because my phone just can't quite handle it. I'm going to take off a little early. It's been a long day. Really great to see you. Hope you have a chance to watch this. Not that many people tuned in, but by next time we'll be making the paper and forming the piece about the zero waste, and some more sewing. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and be safe out there, and stay healthy. And see you when we're finally wearing these out on the streets again. All take care.